First thing and foremost, as always, I want to give all the praises, glory, honor, and respect to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash, Barakatha Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honor goes out to the apostles, double honor goes out to the elders, double honor goes out to the elder bishops at the Great Millstone GMS who rule well and who teach well, and salutations to the elect, the hopeful elect as always. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. So the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute has reported how global peacekeeping deployments have dramatically declined. Okay, so inspiration for this lesson, of course, is drawn from the article that you see on your screen, which was dated on the 25th of May 2026, the year of agents, apostates, and sellouts. Now today is Wednesday, the 27th of May. Okay, I'll put the link to this article in the description box beneath, alright? So yeah, the headline says, Peacekeeping in peril amid plummeting troop numbers and geopolitical deadlock, new S.i.P.R.i report. Okay. Geopolitical tensions, political pressure and funding crises are putting the viability of multilateral peacekeeping in jeopardy, according to a new analysis of developments and trends in multilateral peace operations released today by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. The number of personnel in peace operations at the end of 2025 fell to its lowest point in at least 25 years. The new report and data are published ahead of the International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers on the 29th of May and are available at that website. Okay. As of the 31st of December 2025, 78,633 international personnel were deployed with peace operations, 49% fewer than in 2016 and the lowest level since at least the year 2000. Although numbers have been in decline throughout the decade, 2025 saw the sharpest year-on-year drop in the period by 17%. If things continue in this way, we could see a dramatic weakening of multilateral conflict management and the near-complete sidelining of institutions like the United Nations due to a perfect storm of funding, political and geopolitical factors. Alright, said Dr. Who was the director of the S.i.P.R.i Peace Operations and Conflict Management Program. The result is likely to be more conflicts, and these conflicts are likely to have even graver impacts on civilians as states abandon long-established norms. Right. A total of 58 multilateral peace operations were active in 34 countries or territories around the world during 2025. This was 3 operations fewer than in 2024. Sub-Saharan Africa and Europe both hosted 18 missions, the so-called Middle East and North Africa 14, the Americas 5, and Asia and Oceania 3. Nearly 3/4, 73% of personnel were deployed with just 5 missions, 4 of them in Sub-Saharan Africa. Wow. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 3. The subheading says, Second Seal War. That's right, because we're in a time of war, not a time of peace. And there's a time and place for everything. It tells you that in the book of Ecclesiastes. Verse 3, Revelation chapter 6, verse 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse. Horse represents power. That was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, yeah? Okay, that's Esau Edom, the so-called white man, right? The first came out red all over. Alright? Tells you that in Genesis. Okay, and this devil took peace from the earth, man. His blessing is the sword. Okay. He's the sword of the Lord on the left-hand side. Okay. So, yeah. This proved that took place from the earth, took peace from the earth. Okay. As long as these devils remain in power, alright? As long as they're in that power seat, there will never be peace on earth. There'll always be war. Okay, and this also proves that those people in the Holy Land cannot be the Lord's chosen people. Okay, those Amalekites. All right, it's another tribe of E. Okay, chief tribe. All right, if they were truly the chosen, then there'd be no conflict and wars. But all we see is conflict and war. So obviously they're not the chosen. Okay. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 1. All right, in the book of Isaiah, there's prophecies. All right. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. This is the future prophecy. And it reads, the word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Yeah. All 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. You know, and also we were scattered all over the world. Let's go to James chapter 1 and verse 1. James, this is the biological brother of Yahushai, by the way. James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahushai Hamashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. When you go into the word scattered, it is, what does it bring out from time to time? The S.i.P.R.i.
Strong's G1290. The S.i.P.R.i. The S.i.P.R.i.
That's the Greek word. A scattering, dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. That's right, we've been scattered, you know, unto every nation under the sun. Okay. And, you know, process of time we've been mingling with other nations' women, and, you know, we even resemble these other nations. Israelites look like everything under the sun. Right? Let's get another precept. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of Yahweh the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Grace unto you, and peace be multiplied. All right. Now if we get the word for scattered here. Yep, same word.
Strong's G1290. The S.i.P.R.i. The S.i.P.R.i.
Get the root word. To scatter abroad, disperse. Alright. The S.i.P.R.i.
Strong's G1289. The S.i.P.R.i.
The S.i.P.R.i.
The S.i.P.R.i.
Yeah. That's where he's, you know, you're familiar with the word diaspora? Yeah. The S.i.P.R.i. Right? The S.i.P.R.i. To scatter abroad, disperse. Okay. So the Israelites were scattered abroad. Okay. Unto every nation under the sun. Alright, and we're waiting on Yahushai, you know, to bring us back to the Holy Land. Okay. Go back to Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. Okay. Then there'll be peace when that happens. Alright. The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, right? No heathens here. I do not see Ham, or Ishmael, or Elam, or Ammon, or Moab, or even Japheth. Okay. Verse 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days. Alright. Are we not in the last days? Okay. That the mountain, okay, mountains represent governments, of the Lord's house, Yahweh's house, shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. Or hills represent smaller governments. Okay. So this is a clue. Not all nations are flowing unto the Holy Land, which proves those people over there are not the chosen people. Okay. They're imposters. Verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain. Again, mountain represents government. Of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Okay. That's right. So go to the book of Matthew, chapter 2. And 6. And it reads, and thou Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Yahushua is that governor. All right, let's go into the word governor. And then we can go into the article.
Strong's G 2233. Hegeamai. Hegeamai.
To lead, to go before, to be a leader, to rule, command, to have authority over. That's what a governor does. Okay? Yeah? A prince, a regal power. Governor, chief leading as respects, influence, controlling, and council, overseers, or leaders of the churches. Okay? Yeah? Leader, chief commander. Leader in speech, chief spokesman. Alright? Okay. And who makes intercession for us? Alright? Yahushua. Okay. But yeah, regal power. You see? You know, the Israelites are a royal people, royalty. Alright? And the kingdom of heaven is a regal power. We're waiting on Yahushua to establish the kingdom of heaven with his people, the Israelites, beginning with the elect first. Right? Nothing to do with these heathens whatsoever. Okay? They'll be in the kingdom, but they'll be slaves to us. After 1,000 years, then they'll be tributaries and they'll go back to their lands and stuff. Will be done away with after the 1,000 years of captivity, you know, hardcore slavery. Okay? Yeah. We'll stay in the same book of Matthew, but we'll go to chapter 11. We'll go to verse 12, and these are the words of him, the man himself. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. Clearly, the kingdom of heaven is talking about the Israelites. Who was committing violence towards the Israelites? The Romans at this time? Okay. Okay, so now we know who the kingdom of heaven is, and Yahushua is going to save his people to establish the kingdom of heaven for his people, beginning with the elect first. All right. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 2, verse 3 again. All right. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. Okay. Yeah, these we're going to teach these nations the law, statutes, the commandments. If to go off, and that's when we execute the right punishment. Okay. And we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law. Right? Because Yahushua is the governor. Right? He will set up a regal power. Okay. And the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. All right. Is this happening right now? Nope. Okay. In fact, let's go to Zechariah chapter 14, verse 16. And it reads, And it shall come to pass, it's a precept, that everyone that is left of all the nations which come against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up, and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite the heathen that come up not to keep the feast of tabernacles. Yeah. Okay. So if they don't want to get down with the program, the righteous program, no rain in their land. Okay. And they're going to want to do it. Don't you worry. But you know what happens if they don't? All right. So let's get that precept. Again, back to Isaiah chapter 2. We'll go to verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Yeah, none of that in the kingdom of heaven. It's going to be peace. No more war. Okay. Is this happening now with them rats over there? No. The article itself confirms it. Look at this. States unwilling to fund and unable to agree on UN peace operations in 2025. There was a crisis in funding for UN peace operations as major donors failed to pay their commitments on time or in full. In July 2025, UN peacekeeping operations faced a shortfall of $2 billion US, more than 35% of their total $5.6 billion budget for 2024 to 2025, and several were forced to make deep cuts to personnel numbers as a result. See that? Okay. In the UN Security Council, hardline demands and veto threats from permanent members complicated decisions on renewing operation mandates. For example, despite frequent violations of the 2024 ceasefire agreement between Israel and Lebanon, the United States demanded the termination of the UN interim force in Lebanon during mandate renewal talks in August 2025. In a compromise move, the Security Council voted to renew the mission for a final time until December 2026, so later this year. All right. It'll take Yahushai, to bring peace on earth, man. After he judges, of course. All right. He has to be removed from power. Okay. He, he has to be removed from power. This will happen, don't worry. And I can't wait. Okay. Because you can't have two kings on one throne. The Security Council authorized the deployment of an expanded security force staffed by an ad hoc coalition, the Gang Suppression Force, in Haiti, along with the creation of a UN support office to provide logistical and operational support. This came after a US-backed initiative in 2024 to transform the multinational security support mission in Haiti into a UN-led and UN-funded peacekeeping operation stalled mainly because of opposition from China and Russia in the UN Security Council. Okay. Wow. There's a lot there, man. Let's go to 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 9. I'll start at verse 1. And it reads, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, we measure the times by linking current events around the world and lining it up with Bible prophecy, to gauge where we're at in the prophetic timeline. Right now, we're at the very, very end. The last few seconds of this, man. They're about to push the RFID, radio frequency identification device, micro C-HIP, right, which is the MOTB. They're about to push that heavy. We constantly see more and more articles on it, okay, updates on it, all right. It's voluntary, to get hold of one, all right, or, you can even order kits, but, stuff like that to do it. Or, look at Sweden, people go and get C-HIP'd, all right, but soon they're going to crash this economy. It's going to go cashless. Everything's going to go digital. They'll set up C-HIPing stations to get people electronically tagged, right? And they'll mandate it, okay? And it'll be compulsory in the near future, very near future, all right? Tensions are rising amongst the nations. World War III is brewing up. In fact, check this. Where did it go? BBC News, US military says it has launched new strikes on southern Iran. Okay. Yeah, things are happening. Many things happening, man. Okay. End time headline, Atlanta airport begins mandatory EBOLA screenings for some travelers. Spell that out and pronounce it. EBOLA. Yeah. So we know another L down is coming. Okay. And we know the economy cannot bounce back. When that comes. Okay. You got the hantavirus, got the Crown 19. End time headline again. Experts warn, fill in the blank, outbreak now, open quote, out of control, end quote, as death toll climbs amid frantic race for fill in the blank. Okay. So they're going to come with a thing over your face again. hand sanitizers, the social distancing, get your thing into the body, inject that thing into you, all right? See what it's leading up to, man. It's a repeat of 2020, but worse. Packing a lunch from home could save the average employee $3,000 a year by avoiding daily takeout and hidden convenience fees, new research shows. Yeah, it all adds up, man. Especially eating out. Okay. Well, there you have it. Look at this. American pork is now banned or highly restricted in 160 nations, yet the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, still says it's safe for Americans. Oh yeah, like they're going to tell you something that's good. First of all, as Israelites, you should not be consuming this. Right? This is for E to eat. It's made for him. Okay? Pigskin people, man. It's against the dietary law to consume pork. And look at this. American pork is even worse. Alright? Even though it's alright, it's an unclean thing to consume. Alright? The pork in Babylon the Great is way worse. Alright? GMO pork. Jeez. Highly restricted in 160 nations. A lot of food in America is banned in other countries in the world. Alright, even in Europe and all that. Toxic pesticides detected in 92% of oat-based products tested. Quaker. See? Defiled bread, man. Have to get out of here. Sicknesses, diseases, alright? Being worn out, man. Okay? Cancer chemicals detected in 100% of cereals tested. Cheerios. What would you feed your children these things too? Satan is cancelled. Russia just made devil worship a felony, 8 years in prison. Alright. Yeah. Okay. But when we see articles like that, man, okay, prophecy is speaking. Alright. 2 Ezra chapter 9 verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? More protests, right? Strikes, right? More uproars of the people. Okay, and earthquakes are happening all over the place, man. Alright? More and more frequent. Verse 4. All you have to do is type in earthquakes into Google. And there's updates on it constantly. Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Yeah. That's right. See? And also the biggest funder of the United Nations is America, Babylon the Great. See, and they're cutting back on funding because America is run by E. Alright? E thrives off war, not peace. E loves war. They need war to keep their economies going. Okay? Yeah. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Yeah. The prophets who are Israelites, right? The mouthpiece of the Lord. Okay, on earth. Verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved, and shall be able to escape by his works, and by faith, whereby ye have believed. Yeah, only ones that will be saved will be the elect of the nation of Israel. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? Pushing this truth out. Right? Now, we know everyone is not a prophet, but, playing your part, in the body, for the ministry. And of course, you need faith. Okay? Faith and works. Alright? Faith without works is dead. Okay? See, the law, statutes, and commandments ain't going to save you. Alright? Now, of course, we keep it to the best of our ability. Alright? Of course. Okay? But you need to have faith and trust in Yahweh, Ba'ashem El-Shai. Okay? Because at the end of the day, our righteousness is as filthy rags. Alright? Verse 8, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Yeah, so perils are coming, man. Okay? More pestilences, more, diseases, famines, okay? More natural disasters, economic hardships, all right? Crime is going to increase more. Homelessness is going to increase, all right? They'll make being homeless a crime, all right? They're going to push out even more unrighteous decrees as well. No viable alternatives to UN-led conflict management. While no UN-led peacekeeping operations have been mandated since 2014, 12 years ago, several have been launched by regional organizations. However, developments in 2025 underlined the limitations of regionally led missions. Let's see. Other notable developments, all of the top 10 contributors of military personnel to multilateral peace operations were in the global south. Uganda became the top contributor of military personnel, followed by Nepal, Bangladesh, and India. The remaining top 10 contributors were located in sub-Saharan Africa, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Burundi, and Kenya, while Asia and Oceania, Pakistan and Indonesia. Personnel deployed increased in the Americas and Europe, but decreased in all of the regions. Yeah, okay. All right. America's going down, man. The American dollar's being devalued day by day. Okay. So, that's all I have on that. I'm going to say shalom.